The night is deep, silent. The sky is filled with countless stars, yet on the earth, human hearts are drowning in darkness. There is no call to prayer in the air. Mosques are illuminated, but hearts remain unlit. In this age, people pray, they recite the Quran, they raise their hands in supplication, yet their hearts do not tremble, their eyes do not weep. No light descends in their prostration. Before you continue watching, subscribe to Deennovus for reminders that awaken the heart. If these words resonate with you, give the video a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflection may be the light someone else is searching for. A question rises from within, slowly, heavily, like a cry trapped beneath the chest. Worship exists. The forms are complete. The movements are correct. So where is Khushūʿ? Where is the fear that once made hearts tremble at the mention of Allah's name? Where is the living heart? The heart that used to melt in the night, that used to weep in sujood, that used to feel small before the greatness of its Lord. Why do prayers feel empty, as if the body stands but the soul is absent? Why do supplications feel heavy, as though words rise from the tongue but never reach the heavens? Why does the soul feel distant, even while standing before Allah Himself? Is it that Allah has turned away? No, it is the heart that has drifted. A heart distracted by the world, a heart weighed down by sin, a heart alive in the body, yet dead in meaning. We bow, but without surrender. We recite, but without reflection. We raise our hands, but without desperation. And so the question remains, burning, unanswered. Worship is present. The mosques are full. The voices are loud. But where is the heart that truly stands before Allah? And then, from the deep silence of history, from beneath layers of forgotten time, a voice emerges. Not loud, not demanding, quiet, yet powerful like thunder that shakes the soul, not the ears. A voice untouched by centuries, unbroken by dust, unfaded by time. A voice that does not argue, it awakens. It does not shout, it reveals. It speaks to the heart that thought it was alive and exposes the heart that had quietly died. A voice that once walked among trembling souls, that was heard in the nights of tears and in the sujood of the sincere. A voice that asks no questions, yet leaves no excuse. A voice that reminds, worship is not movement, it is surrender. Prayer is not routine, it is presence. And a heart without Allah, no matter how often it bows, remains empty. The silence breaks, and the heart, if it is still alive, begins to listen. Baghdad. Narrow streets, worn by centuries of footsteps, walls that have heard the secrets of the sincere and the cries of the repentant. The night is still, not empty, but heavy with remembrance. Inside a modest gathering, long hours of worship have passed. Lamps flicker softly, shadows tremble on the walls. Tears flow from eyes that truly know Allah, eyes that have tasted the sweetness of sujood and the bitterness of sin. Before him sit his disciples, young and old, their hearts eager, their souls restless. They have prayed, they have fasted, they have stayed awake through the night, yet something feels missing, and so they ask, "O Shaykh, how do we attain adab? How does the heart soften? How do we draw closer to Allah, not with our bodies, but with our souls?" Shaykh Junayd Silence fills the room, a silence that teaches before words ever do. Then he speaks, slowly, deliberately, each word measured, each word heavy. Adab does not come from worship alone. Adab comes from halal sustenance. The room falls silent. No coughs, no movement. Even the lamps seem to listen. He continues, "A stomach filled with doubt cannot produce humility. A body nourished by the questionable will stand in prayer, but the heart will not arrive. And a heart raised on haram and doubtful provision cannot carry the light of Allah." These words do not shout, they do not accuse, they cut, soft yet deep. They settle into the chest, exposing what years of worship had failed to heal. The disciples lower their gazes, for they realize the problem was never the lack of prayer, it was the unseen poison feeding the heart. And in that quiet room of Baghdad, a truth echoes through centuries. Purify what enters the body, and the heart will begin to live again. People say, "I pray, I fast, I give charity." Their tongues are quick to list deeds, their resumes of worship are long, but they do not ask, "Is my income halal? What enters my stomach, is it pure before Allah, or merely legal before people?" A man stands in tahajjud at night, the world asleep, his hands raised, his voice trembling. Yet by day, his wealth grows from interest and injustice. A businessman cries in du'a, his eyes wet, his words desperate. Yet his scales are dishonest, his measures are false, his profit is stolen grain by grain. A preacher delivers fiery sermons, his words shake the crowd, his warnings make others tremble. Yet his own life is fueled by haram wealth. His bread is impure. His clothing is bought with the price of oppression. And then they wonder, why is my du'a not accepted? Why do my prayers feel empty? Why does my heart feel hard, unmoved by Quran, unshaken by death, unafraid of Allah? They search for new du'as, new lectures, new spiritual remedies, but they avoid the mirror because the answer is painful, but it is true. Allah is pure, and He accepts only what is pure. A heart nourished by haram cannot taste Khushūʿ. A body fed with injustice cannot carry light. You cannot knock on the door of Allah at night with hands stained by sin earned in the daylight. The problem was never the lack of worship. It was the poison entering quietly, meal after meal, until the heart forgot how to live. This truth does not scream, it waits. And when it finally reaches the heart, if the heart is still alive, it hurts. But that pain is the beginning of healing. Haram sustenance does not only fill the stomach, it numbs the heart, slowly, quietly, without warning. It absorbs the warmth of worship until prayer loses its sweetness and becomes movement without meaning. It dries the tears of the eyes, so the nights grow long, but the heart never breaks. It empties the prostration of its soul. The forehead touches the ground, yet the heart never descends. Prayer becomes routine, standing, bowing, sitting, performed with precision, felt with nothing. The Quran becomes mere recitation, letters pronounced perfectly, meanings never allowed to enter. Du'a becomes only words, raised hands, memorized phrases, but no desperation, no surrender. And the heart? The heart becomes dead, not shattered, not screaming, dead, yet still beating, functioning, but not alive. It smiles, it works, it prays, but it no longer trembles at the name of Allah. It no longer fears the meeting with Him. It no longer longs for the light of His closeness. And this is the most dangerous death, a body that lives with a heart that does not. For a dead heart does not feel pain, and a heart that feels no pain does not seek healing, until Allah in His mercy shakes it awake with truth, with loss, with a reminder too heavy to ignore. Only then does the heart realize life was never missing. Purity was. Halal sustenance is not just food. It is silent worship. A worship without movement, without witnesses, known only to Allah. When a person earns honestly, chooses the halal path even when no one is watching, and turns away from the haram though it promises ease, every breath becomes worship. His steps in the marketplace are written as obedience. His patience in loss is recorded as faith. His restraint when desire calls is counted as devotion. His prayer has fewer words, no dramatic cries, no performance, yet it carries weight, because the heart is clean before it stands. His supplication is brief, sometimes only a whisper, sometimes only a tear, yet it shakes the heavens. Not by volume, but by sincerity. His tears are few, not forced, not displayed, but they are priceless in the sight of Allah, because they fall from a heart nourished by purity. This is why the righteous were not known by the length of their prayers, but by the purity of their bread. For when what enters the body is halal, what rises to Allah is light. And when the sustenance is pure, the heart does not struggle to bow, it longs to. The righteous predecessors trembled when it came to halal, not out of fear of poverty, but fear of Allah. They feared a morsel more than we fear major sins. They feared what entered the stomach, knowing it would one day stand between them and their Lord. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, "I do not wish to supplicate while my provision is doubtful, not because he doubted Allah's mercy, but because he honored Allah's purity. He understood, a tongue fed with uncertainty cannot rise with certainty." A pious elder once warned, "Consume haram for 40 days, and the heart becomes blind. Not blind of sight, but blind of truth, blind to reminders, blind to tears, blind to fear." The Quran is recited, but it does not enter. The prayer is performed, but it does not lift. The sin is mentioned, but it does not hurt. They knew. The light of Allah does not dwell in a polluted vessel. Just as pure water rejects a filthy container, divine light refuses an impure heart. This is why they checked their bread before they checked their deeds, why they purified their income before increasing their worship, because they understood a secret we often forget. You do not carry the light of Allah to Him, you make room for it. And purity is the door. Today we seek quick wealth, money without patience, success without struggle, gain without consequence. We chase easy shortcuts, paths smoothed by compromise, roads paved with excuses. We blur the lines between halal and haram until they no longer disturb us. And we say, everyone does it, as long as I don't harm anyone. This is normal today. There is no other way. We repeat these words until they sound like truth, but they are not truth. They are comfort. And comfort has silenced the conscience, because we forget. Allah is Ar-Razaq, not the market, not the boss, not the system, not the shortcut. Provision is not earned by disobedience. It is granted by Allah. Haram never brings peace. It may expand the house, but it shrinks the heart. It may increase numbers, but it decreases barakah. It may decorate the life, but it darkens the soul. Haram gives the world comfort, status, applause, and quietly steals the hereafter. It steals the sweetness of prayer. It steals the acceptance of du'a. It steals the fear of Allah. It steals the tears that once purified the heart. And the tragedy? The loss is not felt immediately. The wealth grows. The life continues. The smile remains. But something sacred is gone. Until one day, the heart stands before Allah, empty. And then the truth becomes clear. No wealth was worth losing the light. No shortcut was worth the distance it created. For what Allah gives through halal, even if little, carries peace. And what is taken through haram, even if much, carries ruin. This is not poetry. This is a warning. And for the one who listens, it is mercy. If you want your prayer to come alive, if you want your du'a to rise to the heavens unblocked, if you want your heart to soften again, to feel fear, to feel closeness, to feel Allah, then begin not with your tongue, begin with your plate. Look at what feeds your body, for it is also feeding your heart. Ask yourself, slowly, honestly, without excuses, where did this food come from? What is the source of this wealth? Whose rights were taken? Whose tears paid the price? Is Allah pleased with my work, my income, my life? Because no amount of night prayer can heal a heart poisoned by the day, and no river of tears can wash away what enters the body repeatedly. Purify the source, and worship will follow. Clean the bread, and the heart will soften. Correct the path, and Allah will draw you near. This is not the beginning of worship, it is the foundation. And from foundations, light rises. Impure provision does not merely weaken worship, it numbs it, slowly, silently, until prayer loses its soul and remembrance loses its warmth. But halal sustenance, it ignites the lamp of divine light within the heart, a light that restores Khushūʿ, a light that brings tears back to the eyes, a light that makes sujood feel heavy with meaning. When the provision is pure, worship breathes again, the heart listens again, the soul returns home. So we ask, O Allah, grant us provision that is halal, even if it is little, and remove from us wealth that is impure, even if it is plenty. O Allah, purify our hearts from what darkens them, soften them with your remembrance, and illuminate them with your light. O Allah, do not make our worship mere form and movement. Make it presence, make it sincerity, make it life. Allow our prayers to rise, our du'a to be accepted, and our hearts to live before they meet you. Ameen.